Welcome back. This is Craig Jones here to tell you what's going to be going on in August at the fantastic Bernhardt Winery in Plantersville, Texas. I want to start out though by telling you about the first show that I booked, which was held on June 15th on Father's Day, and it featured Folk Family Revival doing the doors. Quick story because it's amazing. Of course, I'm excited about this. I'm going out there, I get halfway out there, and a storm hits, and literally, I think it's going to be the last thing I do. It's raining, pouring, blowing. I pull into a gas station with 18 other people. We're all just, what are we going to do? In about a half an hour, it lets up. So off I go down the road to Bernhardt. There's limbs all over the road. I pull in, drive down, it's dark. I learn the power's out. Isn't this fun? My first show. So then I go and we talk, and the power comes back on, but it's muddy everywhere. And we actually held it in the fabulous, and I say fabulous with a capital F, pavilion that they have at Bernhardt now. And folk families came out, and I've never seen a situation where they did 3 or 4 great door songs in a row where the crowd just went nuts after every one of them. So got through it, turned out great. I love doing it in that venue. We'll still do a lot of them outdoors, but he's got a great choice for rain and really for any concert with this incredible pavilion. And as far as tonight goes, we're going to meet members of 2 bands that are going to play in August. One is Mama Funk, and one is a tribute to Bob Dylan, and they call themselves the Maggie's Farm Band. We're going to have a little visit with both of them. So welcome aboard, and we look forward to seeing you out at Bernhardt Winery. I would like to welcome a special guest, Sarah Smith, and she is with the band Mama Funk, and they're going to play at Bernhardt Winery on Saturday, August the 30th. We kind of picked that date for them because the 30th of August, is the start of Labor Day weekend, and I think that's a great way to kick it off with some partying and fun and dancing and getting funky.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do that. I will say this before I ask a couple questions. I've been to a bunch of weddings in the last few years, and it never ceases to amaze me how all of them and almost everybody has a DJ these days. It can be country and western, it can be this, it can be that, but they're always on the dance floor after get through the father-daughters and all of those things and do a little of this. The funky music always starts.
Yeah.
And it's always the music that they play, you know. And I think that it's just, and a lot of that music now is 50 years old, but it's still the music that always gets played. No matter where you go, if there's going to be dancing, there's going to be a set of that kind of music. So with that, all that said, I want to talk to Sarah a little bit. I've known her for a little while from another band, and just I want to get caught up a little bit about her, where she's from, and a little bit of her musical history, and then what got her to work with some other people to form Mama Funk. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to this point with this band.
Oh, man. Where do I begin? How far back should I go?
Well, when you wanted to be Little Richard and Elvis Presley.
Well, when I was 5, I wanted to grow up and be Elvis and Little Richard. I thought the music they were playing was so exciting and so much fun. I had a little toy piano growing up, and that's what I was going to do, man. Both my parents were touring artists in the 70s, so I grew up in a musical family, exposed to funk and rock and roll of that era, and it just stuck, man. So fast forward X amount of years, I'm not going to give anything away here. Here I am playing bass for a country band, and I believe that's how we first met. And that's when I first met our drummer, Dakota. So I've known him now almost a decade. And that's when the term mama got coined, playing in that country band. hanging out with all those young boys, man. Someone's gonna whoop them in shape, so they called me Mama. The funk came around later, but I was always listening to Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, fusion artists, and everything like that. So they tagged funk onto the end of it. So I'm Mama Funk.
So there you go. So you're the actual Mama Funk.
Yeah, I'm Mama Funk.
It's not like Alice Cooper. Where Alice Cooper wasn't actually Alice Cooper.
No.
That was the name of the band for a while. And then he decided, I'm going to be Alice Cooper, and fired everybody. So,
No, I hope it doesn't go that way. I really like these guys.
That's it. I can see it now.
Yeah.
Well, Mama Funk, I'll see y'all later.
Right.
But anyway, tell us a little bit about Mama Funk, the kind of music, the kind of the vibe you create, and what the band's all about.
So we're not straight disco. When a lot of people think 70s, they think, oh, party disco. We do some of that. We're more along the lines of 70s funk rock, a little blues, that R&B, that soul, that side of it. All those deep cuts, B-sides, those fun tunes. Early Chicago with Terry Kath. We do some Al Green, a little Earth, Wind, and Fire, Temptations, 10cc, Shaka Khan and Rufus. Like, you name it, we're doing those funky, fun tunes that everybody wants to shake their booty to.
There you go.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah.
Shake your booty.
You know, you think about that. Come up with a song that's silly.
Right.
And it's just a hit beyond belief.
Right?
So, okay.
Brilliant.
All right, I know you came out and saw Folk Family when they did their Doors tribute.
Oh, it was amazing. It was so good.
And so you've been at the Bernhardt Winery.
Yes.
I'm guessing more than just that one time.
Oh, absolutely.
But needless to say, it's a great venue to play.
Absolutely. We're excited.
And I think it's going to be a real cool show. And I really look forward to it. I think, you know, it's sometimes interesting to me, now that I've become Craig Jones' band booker, is that the stars just align sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think to have your type of a show kick off a holiday weekend couldn't fit any better.
Mm-mm.
So
We're stoked.
We look forward to having you come out and play. Tell us a little bit about what the band is going to consist of. You know, the different, you know, I know you're going to have the basic rhythm section, that kind of stuff, but talk a little bit about the add-ons that really kind of lend themselves to funky music.
Oh, definitely. We've got, well, myself, I play bass, and Dakota's our drummer, so we're the rhythm section. We have our good friend T-Ray Porch on. He's skanking that guitar a little bit for funky vibes. And we have right now we have a two-piece horn section, sax and trombone. And we're looking to add a trumpet player. That's in the works. We're talking to somebody right now. So hopefully they're coming together for this show and we can give you that full horn section, 70s party vibe.
Terrific. Unless you can think anything to add, I think we've got you. You're a pro at this. I can tell you've done a lot of these.
Well, thanks.
Because you did a great job, and they should all be this easy, right, Gary? Again, thanks for Sarah Smith of Mama Funk, the Mama Funk herself, for stopping by. But our next guests are Ian and Robin Montez, right? I got the name right after I got it wrong on the website. So we figured that much out, and they are going to do a show, the Maggie's Farm Band, and it's a tribute to Bob Dylan. And the show is pretty much based on the age that Bob Dylan was in his early years, kind of up to when he decided to go electric with his music, kind of coupled with that era of music. And if you saw the great movie that got nominated for several Oscars, The Great Unknown, it's kind of formulated after that period of time. I think it's going to be fantastic, so we're going to talk to the guys about it. Robin is going to be Bob Dylan. His brother Ian and a whole bunch of people saw the Buddy Holly show that they had in the Crichton Theater a while ago. He was the Buddy Holly in that show, so they're kind of switching starring roles. But and just as a heads up, we're going to have the Buddy Holly music. It won't be the play, but songs by Buddy Holly and a few other artists from there, and that's going to be on October 26th at Bernhardt Winery. So you want to come to see that. But let me just start off with you guys, and I was telling our previous guests that I would put myself up against any breathing human being on knowing music from the 60s and 70s. And, kind of like a gunslinger, bring it. And I always thought some other old guy would take me on. Here I met two guys that are in their 20s that know this stuff as well as I do. So they really enjoy doing the music and learn about these great artists. So I'm going to start off and just ask Robin about thoughts about Bob Dylan and what you liked about it, why you're excited to do tribute to his music, and let our listeners, know about those thoughts.
Yeah, my start with Bob was, ever since we were born, we've always been surrounded by all this 50s music, 60s music, 70s. Our mom is really into that 80s hard rock music. So we've always been growing up, learning more about these amazing performers that have come in the time before us. My major introduction to the nitty-gritty stuff about Bob Dylan came through A Complete Unknown, which came out in December. I watched that movie and it was absolutely amazing. It blew me away. I dove more into his story, how he evolved throughout the years. In my opinion, he's one of those artists that has kept up with the times, that has always been changing what he does from the 50s to the 60s and now to today's age. And yeah, I just loved every single second of it. I started learning how to play guitar. Those songs are beautiful to play. I watched, every single documentary I could on him. And yeah, I just absolutely love every single part of his music.
Well, and you're really becoming entrenched in the role, and that's what great actors and performers do. I'm guessing that the entire show is not. You're going to have a band. It's not going to be Bob just playing the guitar and the harmonica, but a lot of the music will, of course, be his. But then, obviously, and I think it's kind of a background to who Bob Dylan was. I think he was writing all these great songs, and a lot of bands were having hits of songs he wrote. And the Byrds come to mind. The Turtles did It Ain't Me, Babe. And they have these big hits, and he's going, maybe I need to sound a little more like that. That's not really in the movie. That's my own theory. But so I'm guessing, and you can kind of correct me a bit if I'm not hitting it right, you'll do a little bit more about the era music and how he influenced it, but besides just straight Bob Dylan doing Bob Dylan songs. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, I'm going to jump in here a little bit. Yeah, but we have I would say probably about 85% Bob Dylan, and then there's like I said, I'm a big fan of the Byrds. Growing up, I got into that through my grandfather, the Byrds and the Turtles, and then we have some Barry McGuire from Winnie McGuire.
Hey, Eve of Destruction.
Yeah, Eve of Destruction, yeah. And then the Animals, quite a couple of Animals tracks, and then we also have a little bridge into the Traveling Wilburys, because Bob Dylan was a member of the Traveling Wilburys. And both of us are big fans of all who were involved in the Traveling Wilburys. It's one of my favorite super groups. As well as a couple songs by The Band, which backed up Bob Dylan after he went electric at the Newport Folk Festival, because at the Folk Festival he was backed up by the Paul Butterfield Blues Band, and then when they went to do subsequent albums, Robbie Robertson and the band came in, so we pay our tribute to Robbie Robertson. We pay our tribute to a little bit of the Beatles, because they were friends back then, and John Lennon was inspired by Bob Dylan a trip back to that era of the mid to late 60s where you had the civil rights movement and everything going on, and all these amazing artists were able to put just the struggles of the time into these beautiful songs.
Well, I mean, needless to say, I mean, Dylan, I think among almost all the American songwriters, just got out there. I mean, Jimi Hendrix does All Along the Watchtower,
Yeah.
jamming on a heavy guitar. You know, it's just such well-written music. You can take styles and wrap them into what he wrote, and it's all great stuff. And I think that to me is what makes a great songwriter, is that people can hear it, put kind of their own spin on it, but it always comes out great. So there you go. I think I was thinking about the Beatles. John Lennon did "Hide Your Love Away," I think it was called. That's Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
That's just exactly like a song he would write.
Yeah, that will be in the show. Yeah,
That song,
so
see, Gary, this is classic. Great minds think alike. We can do this all night. We can talk for each other. So, but have y'all have gone out there with another kind of a classic rock band and played Bernhardt before? That's correct.
Yes. We're in a cover band called the Vinyl Arcade Band. Our father also plays lead guitar in that band, and two other people, Carrie Joe and Kevin, are on lead vocals and bass. And it's a cover band, but we cover everything from the 50s up until today. We go through every single decade, get the greatest hits. People are always loving it. And we love doing that stuff too with the newer songs. But we played at the new Bernhardt Pavilion, and man, that is something. It's great on that. It looks amazing on that winery.
Well, I talk in this podcast about, the first show I had out there was the Folk Family Revival doing the Doors. And that was, of course, I'm not going to repeat it because I talk about it in this podcast, but we went through all the rain and the this and the that, so they got moved into the pavilion. That venue is awesome.
Yeah.
The outdoor thing is cool, and Jerry Bernhardt, the owner, will never do away with that. But that pavilion is a neat venue.
Yeah. We were there for their Strawberry Festival back in, I want to say April, I believe. That was the last time we were there. But we've been there probably 10 or 12 times throughout the last 5 years or so. But it's a great venue, and we love coming back to it.
All right, getting back to Mr. Dylan, and I have to say that with great simplicity, I think you muffed your hair and put glasses on. Robin, you're looking like him is pretty amazing, but you're not. And that's one thing that I'm trying to do with our shows is not have so much of the wigs and the costumes and all that to such an extreme.
Yeah.
But just performing as him, how much of it you feel is like you, and how much do you infuse Dylan into the you of the moment?
I kind of play with what the audience kind of wants. We can basically feel it with every single tribute show, how much people want to hear or want to see those icons and how much people want to celebrate those icons. So throughout all the playing and all the singing and the songs and everything, and I try to do my best to do the best Bob impression that I can in terms of how I sing and how I walk and how I play. As soon as the song is over, it's ended, I will completely break and get back into myself and talk more about Bob Dylan. I'm not here to be Bob Dylan. I'm here to celebrate Bob Dylan. So I like talking as myself in between all of the songs and giving the story and everything as myself. And really just kind of becoming a fan with the audience throughout the course of the show.
I want to thank our two guests tonight from the bands Mama Funk and the Maggie's Farm Band Tribute to Bob Dylan. Now let me fill you in on what else is happening at Bernhardt Winery in August. It is a big month, and with their biggest event of the year, one that's non-music, and I'm going to start out with that on Saturday, August the 9th. They have their annual Grape Stomp, and it celebrates the the beginning of the Texas harvest season. It's a free event, but there are some paid things you can do, like tastings and samplings and food and things like that. But he has a sip and straw market with it, and of course, people stomp the grapes. If you can back about the classic I Love Lucy sketch where Lucy stomps the grapes, that's what all these people do. It's a lot of fun. They've done it since the year they opened, and you don't want to miss that. Musically, though, we come up and we have on August the 2nd a tribute to Journey. Journey being an iconic band of the 70s through the mid 80s from San Francisco, which actually featured two members that came out of Santana's band, but they had a ton of hits. Journey always puts that tribute band. I know a guy in it. They always put on a really good show. On the 3rd, we have a pure tribute to Willie Nelson. If you don't know who Willie Nelson is, you're not from Texas, and this will be fun, hearing all his songs done the Willie way. Then on August 9th, like I said, we have the Grape Stomp, big fun annual event. The next night on the 10th, there's a tribute to Creedence Clearwater Revival, which were huge in the 60s and unique unto themselves. There's no other band like them, but everybody loved their music, and you can come out and check that out. On the 16th of August, like we talked about, is the Bob Dylan tribute. It's important, like we talked about, this is the young Bob Dylan that you saw in the movie that was so compelling, and really that was the high point of his career. You're going to love this show. Do not miss it. An 80s party rock, spelled real weirdly, from Thunder Farm. So come see that, and it's spelled Pawty, rock, RAWK. So sounds 80s to me. On the 23rd, we have a tribute to Foreigner. I've actually seen this band perform. They're really good. And the thing about Foreigner, you know several of their songs, but then you'll listen to that show and you go, oh yeah, that one and that one and that one and that one. They had a ton of hits. That'll be a fun night. Then on the 24th, a tribute to Whitney Houston. And she also, or at least that ensemble of people, they also do a tribute to Tina Turner on the same night, two of the great iconic R&B singers of all time. Then on the 30th of August, we have Mama Funk, who we met tonight. Get ready to party, get down. Going to be a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and just come at us. That tips off the Labor Day weekend. So that's a great way to start it. And then the Sunday night is Hot Rocks, which is a Rolling Stone tribute. And the Rolling Stones are, of course, if anybody you ever say they need no introduction, that's that band. So that's August. A lot of good, interesting stuff to do. And the third time's a charm. You really will enjoy coming out to the Grape Stomp. All right, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this month. We'll be back in about a month for the September lineup. If you want to know more about Bernhardt Winery and all the things they have out there, the story of how it started, how to get tickets, just go to the Bernhardt Winery podcast, which is called Bernhardt Winery, The Story of Bernhardt Winery, and you can listen and learn all about it. So see you next time. Bye.